Welcome to Frywall Fridays. Today we're taking the cheese sandwich to a whole new level by frying the cheese and adding a few very simple and very elegant toppings. Let's get started. For our ingredients, we have provolone cheese, which is a pretty simple cheese but tangy and works well for this recipe because it holds together and yet still gets a little bit gooey on the inside. You can see it's about 1/4 inch to 1/3 of an inch. You need a little bit of heft. Then we have some onions and vinegar, which we'll use for a quick pickle. Tomatoes, which will top the sandwich. Some mayonnaise. We have homemade mayonnaise, but you can get store-bought as well. Some basil for garnish, and some very nice fresh crusty bread. I'm going to begin with the pickled onions because they're going to need 10, maybe 15 minutes to sit and pickle. So the earlier we begin it, the better. And we'll start by very thinly slicing the onion. I'm going to add just a little pinch of salt. The salt is going to draw out the water, and it's also going to take out some of the bite of the onion and really begin to soften it up. And that's going to work together in concert with our vinegar. We're using red wine vinegar here, but you can use balsamic. Apple cider vinegar also works really well. So you'll see in 5-10 minutes when we're ready to put the sandwich together, these are going to be soft and a little bit sweet. All right, let's move on. Next, I'm going to slice up our tomato. I'm going to give it pretty thick slices, and we have a nice kind of firm tomato. If you can get one that's grown by yourself or a neighbor, that's the best. And you can go ahead and remove that little core if it bothers you. The provolone is going to be a little bit too wide for my bread. I don't want it hanging over too much. I'm just going to trim a little bit off the edges here. And of course, I will keep that cheese and use it maybe for a different sandwich or a roll up. And we'll just cut 2 slices of this nice French bread. I have my pan preheated. The oil is shimmering hot. I'm going to go ahead and add the cheese. It's going to go for a little while here. You see it's starting to melt. I'm going to wait to flip it until the edges begin to brown and look a little bit crispy. That looks good. I'm going to give it a flip. I think that's ready to come out. Let's give it a try. If it's not ready, it'll let me know. Okay, it looks like that needs a little more time. That's okay. We're gonna let it sit for another 30 seconds or so. It'll hold together better, and then it'll come out. And now it is really ready to come out. We'll get that into a plate and get the second piece going in it here. So it's time to put our sandwich together. I'll put some nice mayonnaise, a good bit of mayonnaise on our bread. A nice generous helping. Clean that up later. Add our cheese right on top there. That's beautiful. Couple of slices of tomato, and then finally we're going to add our pickled onions, which really give it this kind of beautiful little tang and a little bit of bite at the end. And then of course we're not going to forget our basil, and if you don't have basil, that's okay, but it really does add a beautiful freshness and herbaceousness at the end. There it is. I think it's going to be one of the more delicious cheese sandwiches you'll ever have. Bon appetit.